afternoon. This is Ronald. I'm Ronald Jones from Jackie Gleason Depot. I'm a bus operator, probationary coordinator, a mentor, snow truck fighter. Been busy. Ran for 2 elections this past couple of years. Um, we're in the midst of a re-election for vice chair, and I've received some very disturbing thing today that somebody put up and they sent it to me. A friend of mine sent it to me, and I was like, you know, I don't understand people, that always complaining and going on about what's going on, but when you go down to the meetings, they're never there. So that tells me one thing, that they don't know what they're talking about. I'm new to this and I'm learning. I've had some good mentors that has taught me a lot of stuff about the divisions and about the depot and stuff. And I've watched what's going on, from years back when God rest his soul, Gibson was there. Um, I want to start off with reading this little clip that I got here. That it's talking about that that Rob is like, un, unfairly denied release time necessary to perform his duty. But the depot chair he does the business, and nothing in the bylaws or the Constitution that defines the job of the vice chair or the recording secretary of the section. Now I've seen Jelani do the pick, the system pick, and since Nicholas is not there, other people have done it too. But during the time that I've been there, from Gibson all the way down through all the chairs that we've had since Gibson, I've always seen somebody doing the pick that wasn't elected. And the chair has he can choose who he wants to put in that position. But there's people that that don't want to see certain people there, or whatever it is. Release time is a big thing when people hear about release time, because that means you're not driving the bus. When I ran for a recording secretary, that's not the big deal. The big deal is to help somebody along the way. I was taking notes today, and all the work that's been done in the depot has been sectioned out and it has been fairly divided and given, because there was this work that's getting done by certain people. They have their little picks and stuff, and didn't nobody else get a chance to, and I just don't understand it, man. Uh, Everybody, this we supposed to be like a unit, a fine fit unit that we all come together and become as one. But no, there's cliques here, there's cliques here, there's cliques there. Don't nobody like this person, don't nobody like this person. Oh, he's doing me wrong. Oh, when I went in there to see the boss, I had signed this. That's been going on for a long time. Sign this. But if you didn't do the crime, you won't have to do the time. That's where I see it. There's rules and regulations that we do every day that we're supposed to, do and abide by. I've been in office a couple of times, but I found out that if I follow the steps by step, everyday routine, that I can avoid those things of being in office. Um, and it also told me on this clip that I got that it's been because of ongoing unfairness and the urgency need to change in our depot, how our depot is run. Our depot has been running real good, because we've gotten I've been taking care of the probationaries. Rob's been taking care of the rest of the people. We had, and we got my man LJ. He's coming in. He's running for the vice chair against Jelani. They're running side by side. It's not against one another because we all together. And I think people need to stop being so one-sided. Let's look at the whole big picture. Jelani's a good guy. LJ's a good guy. LJ got a whole lot more experience than Jelani has because he got 26 years of experience. He's a shop steward, and this is not about the election. This is about how people are trying to pick apart everything, to throw it their way because they're not getting the little perks that they used to get. It's enough to go around for everybody. So, let's stop being so petty, man, and stop making this out of Peyton Place. This is a job, man, and most of us without this job, we would never be in the position that we are in now. And I thank God for this job because it has allowed me to live life as life can be lived in a good style. It allowed me to put my daughter through college, and I know most of everybody in here got kids that's going to college or getting ready to go to high school or whatever. And we need this job in this time of the things that's going on in the world. But in our depot, I've seen other people do the pick, from Gibson to Janine to Ebony. All those have had somebody to do a little extra to and I'm not calling it nothing bad, but I'm calling it as a learning experience. I've never done the pick. I would like to do the pick to see how I've brought myself up to be better than I was before when I didn't speak. I didn't talk to nobody. I laugh and joke, but now is the time to start learning about things that's gonna help that person that's coming through that door and help yourself. I don't understand, why everybody's just why we can't come together. See, and we're not gonna come together because, I see every contract time and every election time, there's 42,000 members, and we get 12,000 members to vote. Some people just don't care or whatever. Contract time is coming up again. They're not, we're gonna get the same thing that we've been getting. Everybody, oh no, we need $5. We need $5 more on the hour. But do you know what $5 or more an hour is? That's 12.5%. You're not gonna get that. We're not gonna get that, and you might as well just leave that alone. But this depot has been my home for the last 13 years, and I want to see it prosper. That's why I got into the election cycle and trying to learn and going to meetings and stuff. And for those that had this link that put up and sent it out today, I hope I turn my head over and see you at the meeting so you can understand these bylaws and this contract and this in the Constitution, because it's all written. I got it all written down here. You got to understand what's going on. The chairman has the right to put who he wants in that position, and even though the person's not elected, as long as he does the job right. And it's nowhere in the Constitution that it states that it can't be done. So when the bylaws and the Constitution was written, this is what it meant. He can go and just like when Nicholas, had his thing going on, and I don't like that point that happened to him, or I don't like the point that happened to JP, and it exploded. Everybody knew about it. That all this stuff's supposed to have been kept inside our union. But it just went all over the place, and everybody knew. Management knew. Now management is having a field day with some of our operators, and I don't like that. I don't like that. That should have been kept in house. Everything should nobody know what happened or anything. It should have been kept in house inside the union, and people like, come on, man, stop acting like a little child. Grow up and let's do the right thing sometime. And then maybe, just maybe, we might be able to do something more than what we're doing. We might be able to get more money. But we're not going to get, people see, the management sees us doing our thing, 4 or 5 buses running together, and the announcements coming, follow the schedule, but you're still out there running hard. And what I know is, I've spoke to the scheduling guy, and by the way he talked, that they're not really changing the schedule, because they sit down at a round table and all things goes up to one person, and he's not changing nothing. So in the depot, in every depot around, there should be everybody getting slips, because we're working on 35-mile-an-hour paddles. What's happening to us is not only happening to Gleason, all the rest of the chairs are doing the same thing. If they see fit where they can put somebody there that can help them, they will do it. And they have the right to do that. He has the right to put who he wants to, where he needs to hit that person be. I haven't grown that much yet, but I could do it if I really wanted to. I never spoke to Rob about doing the pick or anything, because I'm more interested in that man coming through the front door that doesn't know anything, that to keep him out of trouble so he can make his first year and maybe keep going, and he'll wind up with 25 years and he can retire. Because this is a good job, but we make it hard for ourselves. So come on, man, y'all stop this, man. Let's get together and try to make a change. It's not unfair. I've seen Jelani doing the pick. He does a good job, but he was unelected, and he was doing the pick when Aaron retired and Ebony took over and Nicholas second vice chair. He was doing the pick when he wasn't elected. I've seen several people, now I'm not going to call any names, but I got all the names of them right here that has done the pick without being elected. And other depots do it too. So don't try to throw the trash on the other man that's running. That's my man, because LJ helped me out a lot doing our election time. We spoke every day. He brought me up to speed on things that I didn't know. It's just a shame that grown folks act like this. I have my fun. I laugh and joke and carry on and go on, but when it comes down to serious wise, I can get serious too. And this really made me upset today. I saw it, and I had to go back out and finish my route, and I had to woosah, because it really upset me that people think that that they don't know what they're talking about. Because if you don't go to a meeting and find out, if you don't read, like my father used to tell me, he said, "Yo, pick up that rule book. You might not remember everything in the rule book, but you will remember, if you get in trouble, how to get yourself out of it." And I just wish that we could just stop all the bickering and arguing, because it's not getting us anywhere. We headed down the wrong road. The work has been divided. Nobody gets everything. It's some people that are just greedy, just want everything. But you can't do that. You gotta spread the work out. They have called me for the snow truck. I said, no, give it to somebody else. I've had my turn. That's the way I am. But I can't say, that people don't need the work, but they need, extra work. More power to you. But I've governed myself to be where that I don't have to need that extra money, and some people do. And I'm not faulting you for doing the overtime that you do, but when it comes down to this election, get involved, man. Stop sitting around behind and just sitting in the swing room listening to all this crap, man. Because when I walk through there, I know people talk about me too, but that's okay. That's okay. I let it roll. I put an H on my chest and handle it, because I don't care. You can say what you want to say about me, but I've upgraded myself from when I used to sit back at the table and not say anything and just watch what goes on. And this is what has transpired for me becoming the person that I am today. And I thank God for the opportunity to, like, you know, Nas, the one that really brought me into coming around to running. He showed me a lot of stuff, and I thank him for that. Rob has showed me a lot of stuff. Everybody showed me a lot of things that I needed to know that during the election cycle, and I'm not gonna stop. I don't care what you say about the depot chair, about the vice chair, or whatever. I'm not going to stick my head in the sand like some people did when they didn't get released, or they was crying and going on, about, different things. Just do the work. Let's get together and do the work, man. Because people, we need each other. We need each other every day. I pray to God every day. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Some of these things you're not going to change, but the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And I think if you pray this prayer every day, you will see a change coming, man, because I've seen a change in my life. Because before, I didn't know whether I was coming or going, but as I grew into working, I've been in my 13th year within January. I'm grateful that I'm still here. Had the opportunity to do a lot of things here, and I hope that we can stop this crap. These little secret meetings and going on. I know they go on. I know that everybody got their own little clique. I ain't got no clique. I'm a lone runner. I run by myself. Run on me. I got a lot of friends in the depot. I speak to everybody. I hate on nobody for what they got or what they're going to get or the release time that they got. It doesn't matter to me because I can drive a bus. That's what I came here to do. And I hope that this message reaches out to that person that put that link up. I think it was on the G building. I'm not sure because I've deleted the G building because I didn't really dig on it that much anymore because it's not the way it used to be. It's a whole lot of fighting and talking about politics and stuff. There's no depot stuff talking about in the G building. In doing this election, you voice your opinion because I've heard this too. Oh, yo, man, ain't nobody gonna vote. Well, that's your choice. But then 6 months down, 3 months down the road, don't come saying, "Oh man, this guy, he ain't no good. He faked us out. He thought he was this and this and that." Don't do that. Voice your opinion. Go. The election is Friday, from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Make it your best to stop by and check off who you want. I can't tell you who you want, who to vote for, but I'm voting for my man because he is the man. He got a raw deal on our last election, but I think that LJ will help the depot more and more because I see it in him and he's helped me out a lot. And I want to thank y'all for listening to me, and get yourself together, man, and stop doing this pay and play stuff, man. Leave that story on TV, man. This is the real world. This is reality, and just get yourself together, man. Start making these meet. The buses was crowded going to lobby day. We might not accomplish a lot, about what we need to accomplish, but we was there. People saw us there. They know we're fighting. They say we win if we fight. You ain't gonna win nothing unless you do fight. But just keep in mind, man, stop all the bickering. Stop saying, I think people tearing down my man's posters and stuff, and then, why are we playing childish games? This is a depot full of grown people. Come on, man. Everybody's got a choice today. And do what you have to do. Thank you very much.